Itong sinabi ni Senador Ronald Bato de la Rosa sa kanyang social media post na po pwede raw siyang tumayong referee ni na Senadora Amy Marcos at maging ni Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson bilang kapwa kaibigan naman daw niya ang mga ito. Nagugat nga ang komentong ito ni de la Rosa sa palitan ng salita ni na Marcos at Lacson tungkol nga sa flood control investigation. Ayon kasi kay Marcos, nalilito na raw siya sa Senado dahil sa balitang narinig niya ay hindi na raw magpapahiring ang Blue Ribbon Committee dahil maglalabas na ng partial report si Lacson. Dagdag pa niya baka raw may pinag-usapan na sa majority caucus tungkol dito. Bilang tugon naman, pinayuhan ni Lacson ng senadora na dumalo sa pagdinig ng kanyang komite upang hindi raw ito malito. Ayon pa sa kanya, mainam din kung makinig ito sa session hall at magbasa ng announcement sa All Senators chat group para manatili itong updated.
Hindi na raw ikinagulat pa ni Senador Chis Escudero ang inihaing reklamo laban sa kanya sa Senate Committee on Ethics kaugnay ng 30 million pesos campaign donation na kanyang tinanggap mula po sa isang kontraktor noong 2022 elections. Anya bahagi lang daw to ng umano'y script at sarsuela ni dating House Speaker Martin Romualdez upang ilihis ang atensyon ng publiko mula huyan sa mga isyong kinakaharap ng mga congressmen. Git ng senador, malinaw na isang politically motivated na hakbang ang kaso at gagawin niya ang lahat upang mailantad ito bilang isang pekeng issue. Nakasaad sa reklamo na nalagay sa alanganin ang integridad ng Senado dahil sa naturang donasyon dahil nagmula ang pondo kay Lawrence Lubiano, ang presidente ng Centerways Construction and Development Incorporated. Muling iginiit na labag sa Omnibus Election Code ang pagtanggap ng donasyon mula sa mga individual o kumpanyang may kontrata sa gobyerno kahit pa sabihin na ito ay mula sa sariling bulsa ng isang kontraktor.
Kinasuhan ng NBI Bulacan South District Office si dating Bamban Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo na kilala rin bilang Guwaping kasama ang kanyang pamilya. Sa investigasyon, lumitaw na sila ang nasa likod ng ilang kumpanya gaya ng QJJ Group of Companies sa Tibapa na nakarehistro sa Barangay Patubig sa Marilao, Bulacan. Napatunayang binili pa ni Guo ang isang lupang mahigit 4,000 metro kwadrado doon noong 2010. Ngunit ayon sa NBI, idineklara ni Guo at kanyang mga kaanak na sila ay mga Pilipino kahit sila ay mga Chinese nationals. Dahil dito, sinampahan sila ng 30 counts ng falsification of public documents at 30 counts ng paglabag sa anti-dummy law, 4 na kaso kaugnay ng peking aplikasyon sa business at building permits at 6 na dagdag na kaso laban kay Guo para sa umano'y peking deed of sale. Ayon sa NBI, malinaw ang ebidensya sa mga peking dokumento na isinumite ni Guo at kanyang pamilya. Pinuri naman ni NBI Director Jaime Santiago ang kanilang mga ahente sa masusing investigasyon na nagbunga ng mga kasong ito.
Bastos! Ganito inilarawan ng isang dismayadong Representative Laila de Lima si Vice President Sara Duterte. Napuno na kasi si de Lima sa ipinakitang asal ni Duterte nang hindi na naman ito sumipot sa plenaryo para sa deliberasyon sa budget ng kanyang tanggapan sa susunod na taon. Ito ay 3 sunod na pagkakataon na hindi nakita si VP Sara sa plenary debates. Pero ayon sa sponsor ng budget na si Palawan Representative Pepito Alvarez, walang ipinadalang kinatawan si Duterte at sa halip ay nagsumite ng liham sa House Committee on Appropriations. Nakasaad sa mga sulat na may mga itinalagang opisyal at kinatawan si VP Sara na haharap sa budget deliberations. Nagtakda rin ng ilang kondisyon ang pangalawang pangulo bago siya personal na dumalo sa plenaryo.
OBP, enclosed in parentheses, budget for 902.895 million pesos has been deferred due to the committee's insistence that I attend the plenary deliberations. I am prepared to attend. However, I am seeking the following. House of Representatives demand the attendance of President Marcos for the 27.3 billion pesos budget deliberation of the Office of the President.
Bukod dito, nais ni Duterte na mag-produce ang House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability ng dokumento mula sa Department of Justice na nagsasaad na tinanggal na sa Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order si OVP Chief of Staff Attorney Zulaika Lopez at 6 pang personnel. Dahil dito, hindi na naitago ni De Lima ang pagkadismaya, lalo't sa Senado ay may mga kasama ang iba pang opisyal si VP Sara. Nagbanta pa ang kongresista na isusulong na mabigyan ng zero budget ang OVP.
Who is she to continuously disrespect or show disrespect to this body as an institution and to the Constitution? If she can afford to be showing herself up to the Senate, including being there and applauding the former Senate President in his privileged speech, which is definitely not part of her mandate as the Vice President, why can't she not spare a few moments?
So, pakinggan niyo itong sinabi ni Laila de Lima.
Is enough. Enough of her brattiness.
Yan yung nasabi ni Laila de Lima nung hindi umattend sa budget hearing itong si Sara Duterte. Samantalang naka-attend siya dito sa mismong Senate privilege speech ni Jesus Escudero, no? Nandun pa nga siya. At itong budget hearing ay isa sa napaka-importante na nakasaad sa konstitusyon na kailangang dumalo since yung budget ng OVP is almost 1 billion yung pinapa-aproba nila ngayon. I am not so sure kung na-aprobahan na ba o hindi.
The whole budget process is something that is being directed and recognized by the Constitution itself.
So, nakasaad sa Constitution na kailangang dumalo sa budget hearing or yung budget process na tinatawag, lalo na, syempre, involved si Sara Duterte sa pinapasang budget hearing. Ayaw niya bang ma-question sa patungkol dun sa budget na almost 1 billion pesos? At para saan iyon, di ba? Syempre, yung hearing dati kasi, hindi niya rin masagot about sa confidential funds, mga ganyan, about dun sa naging issue niya sa kung paano niya ginamit yung pera, no? Or yung pondo ng kaban ng bayan. So, this is really intriguing, no?
Gusto ko lang muna po nang maintindihan ng maigi yung lump sum appropriations. I know the definition of lump sum appropriations, which is found under DBM Circular, Budget Circular number 595 issued on January 2025. Yung una po, nahirapan po yung aking staff sa paghanap, yung mga specific items under lump sum appropriations. Meron po kaya tayong kumpletong listahan ng mga lump sum appropriations? Kasi so far po, ang mga nakita po namin ng mga lump sum appropriations at kalat po ito, nakakalat po ito sa NEP, nakakalat po ito sa GAB, are the budgetary support to government corporations, yung contingent funds, and then nakita rin po namin yung calamity fund, then the lump sum allocated to LGUs for their respective shares in fire code fees, death benefits for barangay officials, allocation for national government debt servicing. Ano po ba? Meron pa po ba? Do we have a complete list of this lump sum appropriations po?
Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleague, we could share the full list, but very quickly po, I will enumerate. So the items under lump sum funds would be the ALGUS, allocation to local government units. Under that, meron po mga clusters, MMDA, special shares of LGUs and proceeds of national taxes, LGSF, proceeds from fire code fees, barangay officials' death benefits, the BARM allotment. Another category po would be the budgetary support to GOCCs as mentioned. Third would be the contingent fund. Fourth would be MPBF. Fifth would be NDRRMF, yung calamity fund. Sixth would be the pension and gratuity fund. And the seventh would be the revised AFP modernization program.
Okay, kompleto na po yun. Yun po ba ang
Yes po.
kumpleto?
Yes po, those are the 7 main categories and the subcategories
And
under
yun po ay
ALCOS.
nahahanap sa iba't ibang chapters, iba't ibang portions ng ating GAP, di po ba? Hindi po ba kaya posible na meron na lang po tayong isang chapter, isang portion ng ating NEP o ng ating GAP na nandyan lahat, yung lump sum appropriations? Pwede po kaya yon, or is that something na which is not really practical or not rational?
Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleague, ito po yung tinatawag natin na NDRIM. Actually po, they're all in one volume, in volume 1B of the General Appropriations Bill.
1B.
Opo,
Pero
volume
ano
1B.
pa rin siya? Kalat pa rin dyan sa volume na yan. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, Madam Sponsor, now, yung sa budgetary support po for GOCCs, is that really normal and is that really necessary that uniformly po or uniform yung amount for the budgetary support for GOCCs and has always been 28,606,000? And why is that so? Why has the amount always been 28,606,000? And kasi even around 2020, yan na po ang na-notice namin na amount year after year, para pareho lang ang ina-allocate na budget for lump sum. Is it because it's lump sum? So if it's lump sum, kailangan ho ba talagang same amount for several years already? Ganon din po yung contingency fund. It has always been a uniform amount of 13 billion year after year. Is there any special purpose for that, for the uniform amounts, or is that something that is that arbitrary?
Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleague, actually, if you look at the total amount under unprogrammed appropriations pertaining to budgetary support for GOCCs, yung total amount itself po would be different. So, for example po, in the 2025 GAA, the total amount is 6.269 billion. And in the 2026 NEP, the total amount is 6.895 billion.
That is for?
The budgetary support for GOCCs. The particular line item po, Mr. Speaker, that was mentioned by our distinguished colleague, the 28 million pesos po, under the budgetary support for GOCCs, there's a subcategory called Others. Yun po yung 28 million pesos. Generally po, the amounts remain the same every year kasi po parang standby fund po siya. So it's roughly the same amount every year po.
Because it's a standby fund.
Yes,
But
po.
the overall allocated amount for lump sum in 2026 it's 1 trillion, and from 2024 it has really increased. But 2024 764.1 billion, 2025 it's 897.7 billion. So is that normal? Is that something in the ordinary that it really needs to be increasing every year? This lump sum funds. You know, these are standby funds. Why does it have to be always increased every year? Meron ba mga anticipatory circumstances? Contingent? Kailangan bang ini-increase ang contingent?
Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleague, so just to answer the few questions po, I'll answer them one by one po. So the total for 2024 for lump sum funds would be 503.7 billion, and then for 2025 po, it's 526.9 billion, and for 2026, it's 608.9 billion. So we recognize and we confirm the point of our distinguished colleague that it really is increasing year on year with regard to the lump sum funds. And one of the main drivers for the increase would be the MPBF fund and the PGF fund. For example po, for the year, the increase po for the MPBF would be a PGF would be a 36.8% increase. And then the MPBF increased only by 2%, but the one that increased substantially would be the NDRRMF. So
the calamity fund.
That is the calamity
Because
fund.
we expect really the climate change situation to worsen.
That is correct po. But aside from the NDRRMF fund, which is the calamity fund, one of the main drivers for the increase po would be the increasing need to create new positions.